Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. This is the Day of Possibilities, Monday, October 25th, 2021. This is the iBUG Buzz conference call, and I'm Keith, and I will be your facilitator tonight, along with Sandhya, for this open forum question and answer help session for everything iOS and related devices such as the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Apple Watch, and Apple TV, and the various accessories that go along with these, such as the Bluetooth keyboards, Bluetooth headphones, Braille displays, etc., and as how all these relate to and are navigated using VoiceOver and the various functions, accessibility functions for the blind and visually impaired. This call is being recorded, so just for general order of the call, as well as the recording, which will be used for our own podcast, which you can search for iBUG today in any of your podcast catchers. Say that 10 times. And as well as your smart devices, such as the A-Lady, you can ask to play iBUG today. Also, this meeting will be archived on our website, which Michael will tell you about later. And just several ways that you can mute your devices. And like I said, please, if you're not speaking, even if you're standing in line to make a comment or ask a question, please stay on mute. If you're using the Zoom app on your iPhone, at the bottom left corner, there's a toggle mute that you can double tap on and off. If you're on the iPad app, it's at the top center. And again, that's a toggle on and off. If you're on your Mac, you can go Command-Shift-A, or if you have mute turned on, you can use your space bar as a toggle. If you're on the computer, you can go Alt-A. If you're on the phone, calling on a regular phone, you can go *6. And those are the various ways to mute yourself. And any and all muting is greatly appreciated. We do not use the raise hand feature, so when we get into the calls or to the questions, please just unmute yourself, say your name, and wait for myself or Sandhya to call on you. And once we do call you and recognize you, you have the floor, and we ask if everybody else just be mindful of the person that's asking the question. Let them get through their question or their comment before you say your name. Just find a break in the action. That way we can keep it where everybody can hear, and on this call as well as the recording. So with that, we're going to go around and announce ourselves. Just say your name and where you're from, and I'll get it started. Keith in Austin.
Adam in Chicago.
Hi, Adam.
This is Herbie in Houston.
Herbie.
Dave from New York.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing?
All right.
Ned from Texas.
Hi, Ned.
This is Dan from Southern California.
Dan. Anyone else? Hi,
Jim from Susan.
Go ahead,
Jim from Central PA.
This is Susan from Houston.
Roy from Fort Worth.
Hi, Roy.
Ibrahim from Boston.
Ibrahim.
Jake from Michigan.
From New Hampshire.
Jake and Judy. Or Jody, excuse me.
This is Jesse from Crossnore, North Carolina.
Got Jesse, and then who else do we have?
Helene from Woodstock, New York.
Say that one more time.
Helene.
Helene. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
This is Dee from Southern Illinois.
Hi, Dee.
Freddie from Galveston County.
Hi, Freddie. Anybody else? How about the iBUG lady or the ladybug or the iBUG guy? Are y'all out there?
Hey there, this is Sandhya from Houston.
Hi. Well, it sounds like we've got a great group. Do we have any first-time callers? Do we have any first-time callers? These Texas slips out every once in a while.
It's my first time on this kind of call.
Okay. And you're Helena?
Yes, Helene from Woodstock,
okay.
New York. Helene.
I'll get it right before long.
That's
so how did you hear about the Monday night iBUG Buzz?
Well, from Jody. She's my mentor. Jody from New Hampshire.
Okay, great. Well, welcome. And what kind of iPhone do you have or iDevices do you have?
I have an iPhone 2SE.
All right,
great. 2SE because I wanted the home button.
Sure. That's a great phone. Well, welcome. And the way we run this is the first part, we usually have beginning type questions, and anybody that's new, they get first question. And if you have any questions, you are definitely welcome to ask any questions. And if you just want to sit back for a little bit and listen to the others ask questions, that's fine too. No pressure or anything like that for sure. It's up to you.
Well, I find that I have too many questions, but the thing that bothers me is that there are all these threads in my email, and the threads, when I tap on them and it says how many there are, then when I tap it, it says see more, but then I end up back at the beginning. And in order to get to the last thread, is there a trick?
All right. Mail threads. Go ahead, Herbie.
So the trick with threads is instead of opening the thread by double tapping, what you would want to do is swipe down on the thread with one finger until where it says expand thread. And then if you double tap that, you can then swipe to the right and read each message. And then if you want to delete the entire thread, you can go back to the beginning where it says collapse thread and swipe up to delete, or you can you can mark all the messages as read, or you can open individual messages if you want to look at them to reply or whatever. So, and there's also a way to disable threading altogether as well too, but if you do keep the threading on, that's how you navigate threads, is by swiping down to the expand thread.
Right. And I'm not sure if the bug is the same. This Matthew V that does these voiceover, iOS 15 and voiceover, is that the same group? And my question is because they seem to be leaving the webcam, the WebEx, and going to a Zoom platform. And I keep waiting for it to be uploaded to being a podcast or a YouTube. And I'm behind now on the Monday, Wednesday at 2:00. I'm behind on some of the lessons. I was wondering if this is the same group, or that you could tell me how I could get to the 18th and the 20th from last week to here. Is it the same group?
This is the iBUG Buzz Conference, and you can find these on any of the podcast catchers like the native podcast app on the iPhone. And yes, if you go in there and do the search for iBUG Today, it will bring up iBUG Today, and each of the episodes are listed there, and you can go through and pick whichever one you want to play.
This is Jim.
Go ahead, Jim.
Well, thank you for the thread.
I think she was a little bit confused there. She was asking about another iBlind users group, I do believe, weren't you, Helene?
I think that it is. It says it's voice. Oh, iOS 15.
Well, let's hold it right there because we want to talk about the iBUG episode. So I'm not familiar with that one, so we'll go ahead and move on. And
this is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
Keith, may I answer her question?
No. Yes, go ahead. Real quick, and then we're moving on.
Okay. Helena, you're talking two different groups. The class you are talking is TTJ, the Tech Juggernaut.
Yes.
Yeah. That is different than this group.
Thank you.
So this group cannot really answer your questions on that.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. But yes, it's a different group, and like I mentioned, you can find all of our recorded podcast on the podcast apps as well.
Thank you for the answer about the thread too. I love.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and this is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
I just wanted to tell Helene I'm in the same class, so I know what she's talking about.
Okay, good.
And
thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. New question. Anyone?
Ibrahim.
Jim.
Go ahead, Ibrahim, and Jim will get to you next.
Sounds good.
Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Oh, okay. So I bought a iPhone SE like back in the end of September, and everything backed up okay with iCloud and everything. The one thing that I guess didn't come over or whatever is like all my iCloud keychain passwords and accounts. So just wondering if there's a solution to that, because like I had everything backed up to iCloud and all my other photos and stuff came down except for the iCloud keychain information.
All right. Can anybody help Ibrahim with iCloud and keychain?
Kushal here.
Go ahead.
So, what's the issue? Sorry, can you repeat one more time?
So I got a new phone and they backed up from iCloud and because of the store and everything came across okay to a new phone, except for the iCloud keychain. The only 4 accounts came over when I know I had like 40 or more accounts in the keychain before I did the switch.
Interesting. Are you signed into iCloud? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. If you still have, go ahead.
Oh.
No. I'm just wondering, are you signed into your iCloud account?
Yeah, it sounded like he did. He had some of the accounts come over. Herbie, you have any ideas? Herbie?
So, have you, first of all, Ibrahim, made sure that keychain was turned on your new device?
Yeah, I think I went to settings and then I went to what did it say, passwords and accounts, I think it was called. And I think it's on because otherwise I wouldn't be able to use the accounts that I'm using right now. Even this yesterday, I switched the password for something and it asked me to add it to iCloud keychain. So I know it's working, but if I need to double check that, where would I go exactly?
So that would be in passwords, in settings. So you'd make sure that is on, and make sure that is also double check that it's also. Do you still have your other phone as well?
I don't, and because like I did a big backup and everything, and people told me everything would come okay, and it did, except for the keychain. Like all my photos and messages and all that stuff came over.
So did somebody do the backup for you?
Yes, I went to the Apple store and did it because I was changing the phone and updating the iOS.
I have a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Did they do an iCloud backup, or did they do it through iCloud?
Yeah, because my phone was backing up to iCloud, and then they did a restore when they used the new phone.
Okay, then yeah, that should have transferred over because I should have done the encrypted full.
And I did ask very carefully, like, is everything backed up, and we made sure that
right.
The backup was recent and everything. We spent a while at the store.
It sounds like you did, and they did everything they're supposed to. I think kind of where Herbert's going is they possibly did not back up the keychain. Is that where you're going, Herbie?
Well, when I called Apple support yesterday, they mentioned something about, I don't know, it's iCloud keychain being encrypted. I really understand the person that well.
Okay. Yeah, it should have come over. And anybody else have any ideas?
Could it just be somewhere there in the cloud and it didn't come down, or does it bother any support?
Well, if anybody has any ideas, I'm kind of baffled on this. It should have come over. Go ahead, Sri.
Do you know if you had keychain turned on in iCloud?
I think so because when I went to check when I went to use iCloud keychain like 3 days ago or so, first time after I got the new phone, it let me log into Facebook and some other things with it. But when I went to use it to log into Twitter and some other things I had, it wasn't there. So I checked it in passwords and I found out like all my other accounts were missing except for like Facebook and 3 other accounts. So I'm not sure. Does that mean it's on?
I have a feeling that you might not have had keychain turned on your old machine, on your old phone.
Okay.
On iCloud. Because if you did have that turned on, it would have come through all of them would have come through.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. I think that's where Herbie was going to. Go ahead, Herbie.
So yeah, I actually double checked. So no, it's not passwords to verify. What you need to do, Ibrahim, is at the top of settings, past the search, it should say like your name and all that. Go into that and look for iCloud and then look for the option for keychain and see if that is on or off. Even if it's off, go ahead and turn it back on and see if everything syncs up.
There you go.
Do you think there might be a chance it could still sync even if I don't have my old phone anymore?
You don't. I'm not going to promise anything, but what I will say
it's worth a try.
You're not going to lose anything by trying.
Right.
And if nothing else, you will ensure that it won't happen again. So.
Okay, yeah, I just don't want it to happen again in like a year or two when I get a new phone.
Because the passwords that Safari, because everything, I think what's confusing is. Yeah, Safari will store passwords, but it can do it offline, so to speak. What Keychain does is part of the encrypted backup to keep that stores them in the cloud. What the passwords thing is otherwise it'll just store them on the particular phone. So,
and that's the best
that is
thing
the one
to
thing
do.
They mentioned yesterday. Like, even though I don't have an encrypted backup, so like why?
Well,
I mean,
and
when
like
it's being encrypted,
Herbie was saying, I think that's the best thing, just to go into settings and make sure that it's turned on. If it's turned off, turn it on. And I would even, that'd be the first thing you can do anyway.
Okay.
So see if that helps.
Okay. So just go and check if it's on. Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the question. All right, Jim.
Yes, sir. I've got a situation that just developed today. It's regarding email. I saw an email from someone that I found out that I needed to talk with. And what happened is the email said, hey, I need you to do me a favor, get in touch with me. And I did. And I call me, because it was important that I talk to this guy. I also left him a phone message. Well, he called me back later on, and I was able to have the conversation I needed to have with him. And it turned out, he said, Jim, when you saw that email, that was a hack. So I do my email on my iPhone mostly. Is there anything I need to do or I should do as a result of this?
Anybody have any ideas?
Herbie, I'm hoping you have an answer
this
for
is
me.
Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So actually, it's funny because, well, not funny. You're the second person who's asked me this question. My mom had a similar problem last week with Facebook Messenger clicking on a fraudulent link. Yeah. iPhones, fortunately, are pretty secure. But what I would do is I would clear out your Safari cache. Cookie, especially the cookies. That's what I would want cleared just to be safe.
Okay.
And
so, Jim, did you tap on?
Hang on a minute, Keith.
Whoa, Jim.
No, I was done actually.
Okay. So
hold on.
What you're saying is I should
Jim,
clear out my cache. Yeah.
I'm the facilitator. And that's how this call runs. I was about to ask a question, and we can dismiss you if you would like.
Ask me the question, please.
Now we're going to move on.
Oh.
Next question, please. Next question. Go ahead, Kenny.
What is it called? The family share. I had a family share question. If you're part of a family, is there a way to make where the family holder, or whatever the top person, where it does not default to their payment method, and you can use your own payment method when buying, TV shows or apps?
That's a good question. Anybody have any ideas? Kenny, I noticed when you and I had... go ahead, Free. I'll come back to you.
No, I'll wait till you're done.
No, go ahead, Free.
My understanding is the one that has the master account, when my daughters purchase stuff, it comes off my account, is what I've been my experience. But I've never asked anyone to buy something that's not in the family sharing to see if they have their own card.
Get that, Kenny?
Well, when I tried to purchase something, it authenticated my stuff, and then it says, can I complete this purchase? Please have whoever runs the family, I forget the right verbiage, change their payment method. I'm thinking, well, I got my credit card on here. You should use that.
Chris?
What's that?
This is Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
Kenny, it's called organizer. I'm the organizer for the family share plan here. And if they purchase anything as for apps or music or what have you, it does come off my account, my credit card. However, if they have what's it called, an iTunes card or an when the little credit cards, iTunes card, I think it's called, or
iTunes card, yeah.
If they have that and it's part of their account, if they've redeemed it and it's part of their account under my account, it'll take it off of that card instead of my credit card.
Okay, yeah, that's how it used to be, and I thought Apple had better controls where you could better manage and use other payment methods. Okay, well, thank you.
Anybody else? And if you need any answers for parental controls and how they work and do not work, Chris is the person as well. Next question.
This is Karen.
Go ahead, Karen.
I have a question. For some odd reason, I just happen to be looking at my storage. I have a SE 2020 and I got the 64 gigs because that's enough for me. and it's normally around 22, 23, 24 gigs. I looked recently and it said 0 KB of 64 gigabytes used. I don't know how that happened. I called Apple a couple of times. They said, oh, I don't know, something about the cloud. And then I got an email I just happened to get an email from the cloud saying, I don't have any additional storage space. I haven't brought any. And they said, you get like 5 gigs. And I got an email saying you've used half of your storage to the cloud. And, just to be mindful of that. I don't know what's happening. And I don't know why it's 0.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a known bug with the latest update. They did fix that from what I read with 15.1. I actually had the same issue. And my fix was prior to, I haven't updated, but what I had to do was I had to go and restore from a backup prior to the 11th is when I believe Apple released all the updates with the 14.8. And so that was the fix. But I do believe that if you do install 15.1, it will fix it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I haven't done it yet. It came out today, right? Came out today?
It did.
15. Okay, I'll try that. Thank you, Sri.
Thank you, Sri. All right, next question.
This is Arlene.
Say your name again.
Arlene.
Arlene, go ahead, Arlene.
Hi. About a month ago, I typed a text message and I misspelled the word mentions. And before I could fix it, I hit send and the message went to the person. And so I kind of let it go. So now every time I type a text, it tells me to check my spelling, use the rotor and check my spelling for misspelled words, and it says the word mentions, even if I didn't use that word in that particular text. So my question is, where is that word? And do I have to go find the original text to get rid of that? Or do I just live with it telling me that every time I send a text?
How about any ideas of how we can? I know the iPhones trying to get smarter and smarter. I'm gonna have to mute for a second. Go ahead, Sandhya.
Okay, this is Sandhya. Yeah. So Arlene, it may be that if you're in the text and you wrote somebody's name, maybe you wrote Joe's name in your text message, so it's telling you that you have mentioned Joe. That's all it's saying. So if you had 3 people's names in there, it would say 3 mentions. So maybe that's what it is. So you'd have to maybe go see the subject of your text and see if you mentioned somebody's name in there. And that person's probably in your contacts. So that's my suggestion.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank
you.
you. Great question. All right. And I think I heard Jody in there. Jody?
Jody?
Okay. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Going back to previous question, how do I clean out the cache and the cookies in Safari?
Good question. Would anybody like to help, Jody?
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
So there's a couple of different ways. The way I do it is I go to settings Safari, and then you can go in there, and if you swipe down, it's towards near the bottom, not all the way on the bottom, but towards the bottom, there's a button to double tap to delete your cache and history. If you double tap on that, it'll ask you, do you want to clear your cache and history? And you swipe right and you say, okay, that will clear your cache.
Okay, thank you.
Good deal. Easy cheesy. Thanks, Sri. Next question.
Michael?
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, is there a feature in contacts to either merge and get rid of duplicates, or just search and get rid of duplicates?
Yes, you can.
This is crucial.
Go ahead, Cruz.
Yeah, so yes, you can. So if you go into your edit contacts, there should be an option at the end, I think, to merge contacts. Okay. So if you've got a duplicate, there should be an option to merge contacts in there.
Yes.
As well.
Yes, if you hit the edit, you pull up the one that you want to merge and hit the edit at the top right, and then go to toward the bottom of the page. Down there where you'll find a delete, there's also merge. And I believe when you double tap it, it'll bring up a list of possible where you would like to merge it.
Okay, Michael, I guess I'm hoping there's a way to just blanket merge all duplicates rather than one by one.
Anyone? Go ahead, Sandhya.
I believe there was a program a long time ago. I think it's called Simpler, maybe, and Interact. It's been many years, but I just can't remember. But I have them, but I've never used them. But I believe them.
Is it free?
Okay, so please remember to identify yourself. But yes, I don't remember. I don't remember if they're free or not. But it's Interact and Simpler.
And it has been a while, and I did use them, and I would look for them again because they work really well about cleaning up contacts. And I believe, if I remember right, they were free.
Okay, yeah, Michael, again. Yeah, I was just asking because when I upgraded my phone and it, copied everything from iCloud, including my contacts, it basically duplicated every contact.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd look for one of those cleanup contact apps because...
Yeah, crucial here.
Go ahead, Crucial.
What are the apps called again?
Sandhya.
Simpler, Simpler, and then the other one is Interact, Interact.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Michael, go ahead, Michael.
And a related question: does anybody know when you upgrade how to keep that from happening?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
One thing you could try next time is, instead of backing up from iCloud, do an iPhone to iPhone backup, and see if that solves the problem, because it, basically it copies pretty much from your old iPhone to your new iPhone, and maybe that might make it less confused. So that's something I would try for the next time you upgrade.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
Kenny?
This question is for Michael. In your contacts, do you have something called groups there?
Yeah, I do have groups.
Okay. Sometimes they're duplicates because they got them from an email contact. So you might want to check your groups and see which ones are selected, and then if you deselect one of them, half your contacts might disappear.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, if you had I'm just going to use Gmail. Say you had Gmail and then you set up your Gmail account. One of the options is to kind of like show all your Gmail contacts. And so if you have that selected, it will put that in your main contacts. Yeah, and then you'll have a groups button, because it'll have Gmail contacts and iCloud contacts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I'll take a look at that too. Yeah. I use Gmail or Google Contacts as my base, and then I sync my Apple contacts to that. So.
Yeah. And then I'm sure if you go to groups and turn one of them off, half of them should disappear.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'll look at that then. Thanks,
all right, good. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Kenny. All right, next question. You're breaking up a little bit.
Hello?
Yep, you're breaking up.
I said, Xavier, you can't hear me?
Barely. Xavier, go ahead. We'll try to see what you say. Yeah, you might have to call back in. You're breaking up really bad.
You know, if you have
Xavier, you might have to call in. You're breaking up really bad. All right. Well, Xavier is calling back. No, you
can't hear me?
Go ahead. Xavier. Yeah, I think you're going to have to call back in. We'll go on to next question until Xavier comes back in.
I have a question. How are you, Keith?
Priscilla, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, sweetheart?
All right. What's your question? Thank you.
I just wanted to know how you were. I haven't heard from you in a long time.
Been a while.
I haven't been on the phone for a long time. Well, I'll go on mute so the next person can make.
All right. Nice to hear you. And somebody else. Go ahead, Karen.
Mm-hmm. What does it mean to drag an email or a text message? Where are you dragging it to?
Would anybody like to answer that for Karen? Anyone?
Yeah, I'm interested. This is Kushal. I'm interested in this as well.
So anytime you see drag, you can reorder. And if anybody would like to talk further on how to reorder emails, Sri, are you there?
I thought that you could rearrange them there in your inbox, and I was trying to move them and it just wouldn't work. And I called Apple and they was like, oh no, that means move them to a folder.
Yeah, I honestly haven't worked on it in email. I've seen it, but if anybody else has an idea about dragging emails.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
I didn't think you could. I know you can change the sort by order, but if there is a way to do it, it would be under edit, most likely.
No. It comes up when you swipe up, it says drag. And It's new. Fairly new.
Have you tried to double tap it?
Yep. I just assumed it meant dragging it, up and down and maybe rearrange them in your inbox. So I swiped up, I heard drag item, I double tap, and I went to another email and I just double tapped and it said insert item on top or something like that. And I'm like,
okay.
Well,
I tell you what,
anyway, but it didn't do anything.
All right. Well, we're going through halftime announcements. I'll switch over to email and take a look at it real quick, see if I can figure something out. If not, we'll come back next week and I'll have something for us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
This is Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
I don't know if it relates to this one, to her question, but to drag and drop, for instance, when you're in the rotor and you want to put stuff up and down on the rotor, if you do the long press, the double tap and hold, and you just slide your finger up and down, it will reorder it that way.
This is Herbie.
Yes. Go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, I just took a quick look at it. So what I did is you go to edit, go to the email, you go down to drag, and like you said, Keith, that's where you would double tap. Then it brings the item into focus, and then you go to the email, and the only option I saw when swiping down was drag on top of the email. So I'm guessing once you drag it, it would put it to, I don't know if it would put it immediately to the left or to the right, but you would do a double tap to complete that action. So
I did that, and it didn't seem like it did anything. I went back, and it looked like it was in the same place.
It sounds like it might be a work in progress.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
Yeah, I was going to say some of the features that we hear, they don't really have a working functionality with VoiceOver. I know there's a such thing as drag and drop, but it doesn't. It's a feature that a sighted person can do, but for a voiceover user, there is no drag and drop on an iPhone. I've never used that drag functionality. I've seen it. It's I couldn't quite figure out what the difference between that and then there's a move option where you can actually move it somewhere to like a folder or something. There may be another purpose of that drag that I'm not familiar with. Like I said, I've never used it. I never understood the functionality of it because I'm moving to a folder or.
I hear it in text messages too now. It says drag. I'm like, drag item. I'm like, well, where are you dragging to?
That's a great point,
Jesse.
Sheree. Go ahead, Jesse.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the same thing happens in notes where you cannot drag and drop to change the order of the notes. The only place I've ever seen it work is in Apple Music when you're assembling a playlist. You go into edit and you can tap and hold and drag up and down. That's the only place I've seen drag and drop work in iOS.
That's what I've been like Chris was saying in the rotor, setting the rotor option. Go ahead, Sheree.
No, I mean, drag and drop, like it was just mentioned, the double tap and hold allows you to move it in sequence. We can do that with apps like Bard, moving your books up and down. You can do that with things inside the rotor. You can you can drag and move it up and down. That definitely is there. But I've never seen a drag and drop work on an iOS device.
Okay.
Very
This is Karen. It works in reminders.
Okay.
Drag. You don't drag.
Well, I'll definitely I'll look into it as well and see if there's something to it. But like Sheree was saying, that's a good point. There's some stuff that just does not. It's not meant for voiceover. It does not work with voiceover yet. And
this is.
Sheree, let me say something real quick. I was listening to last week's call, and keep in mind when we do these major updates that you have these third-party apps like we were talking about Amazon, and it's not necessarily Amazon, breaking something that's already working, or Apple. Apple's trying to tidy up the apples, and the third-party apps are trying to get their oranges in line, and they're trying to make a fruit salad. They're trying to make them compatible and communicate together. And I think that's where we're getting into some of the incompatibility and the bugs. So, just over the year, just next few months, we'll get some of this stuff worked out, and the third-party apps as well. They're working hard to get everything moved up to the new iOS. And one other thing I was going to say, one thing with this new iOS is I've noticed that it seems like they're adding a bunch of layers. I think they're running out of real estate in some apps, kind of like the Messages app, where they're having to stack stuff on top of each other. And going back to what Sheree was saying, I think that it in the sighted world, it works wonderfully. With the screen reader, when things are starting to stack up on top of each other, it gets kind of clunky. And, where we're usually able to swipe, doesn't always work. But I've noticed, like with this new iOS, I'm having to put my finger on the screen a lot more and get refocused. And, I've noticed, especially like in the Messages app, like somebody was saying last week, I think it was Kathy, not being able to find where to enter a message. I think that's what's happening is it's starting to layer. But if you put your finger on the screen and move it down, it will show up. But anyway, that's what I was going to say. Go ahead, Sheree.
Yeah, I think when VoiceOver says move up or down, that's when I use the drag feature, because that just tells me that I can do a one finger double tap and move up and down. And the one thing that I just want to say about what Keith just mentioned, I think it's one of the reasons that iOS came out with that new option inside the rotor where we have flat and group, because that's kind of moving when it's in the group mode. It's kind of moving over towards kind of a layered situation. It's like our phone right now is really when it first came out, there was no layer. It was just a single flat navigation. And now they're trying to make it more like a computer where you have multiple options within a certain section inside the element.
I think you're right. They're starting to play 3D chess, and voiceover still, it's getting there, but it's still in the 2D world. All right, next question.
Xavier?
Go ahead, Xavier. You sound good now.
All right, thank you. When you have a group text and you have multiple people and you want to rename that group, does everyone in that group have to have an iPhone in order to name it? Give it a name?
Would anybody like to answer Xavier's question? Anyone?
This is Sri.
This is Marty.
Go ahead. Let Marty go ahead. Go ahead, Marty.
No, I don't think that the iPhone thing would only apply, Xavier, if it's FaceTime. But since it's messages, as long, it doesn't matter. Whoever's in the group, whether iPhone or any other operating system, you should be able to, they're part of the group.
Sri. Go ahead, Sri.
I believe in iMessages, in order to give it a group name, they all have to be on an iOS. If there's one Android user, then you can't group name it. That's my understanding.
That's my understanding.
That's what I was finding. Oh. Okay.
So were you finding just not finding a place to rename the group?
Right. It just won't do it. And then when I went into to research it, it's like you can't, someone in the group have to have a third app or some type of other app in order to rename the group.
Yes. So sorry about that, Xavier, but that sounds
all
like
right.
that's what happens with that. Maybe one day we'll all live in the same world.
We'll all be iPhone users, right?
I hope so. Good question. Thank you. All right, next question.
This is Adam.
Go ahead, Adam.
I received a text message which was identified with a phone number. I'd like to know, is there a way to block that phone number so I don't receive any future text messages?
Good question. Would anybody like to help Adam?
This is Jesse.
Oh, Jesse, good, thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What I do is you can go to the phone app and then go to recent calls, and you'll see that number. No, wait a minute. That's for phone calls. Text, I never could find out. Yeah, I never could figure out. Actually, I've tried to do that and couldn't figure it out.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
It's similar to what Jesse's talking about, except you do it in the Messages app. You open the offending message, and up at the top where there would be a name, there is the phone number. I believe you tap on the phone number, it opens up a list of things underneath. On the far right, you should say info or more info or something of that nature. You tap on that and it opens up another screen. And I believe you need to add it to your contacts, and there should be something in there to add it to your contact. I know you can block it, but I think it's got to be in your contacts first before you can block it. But there should be an option in there to create new contact, and once it's been created, you can then block it, similar to what Jesse's talking about with the phone call.
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya.
So I've been getting a bunch of weird messages as well, like people want to buy my house, and I don't want to sell my house. But anyway, so I've noticed that I just tried this, and what you can do, it depends on, I don't know if it works all the time, but I just typed in stop and it's been working. So it says, okay, well, you've been unsubscribed. So, it may depend on what type of, if you're in some spam text message thread, maybe it works. But so I went back and did that, and several of them got me unsubscribed. So I was very excited.
Yeah,
That's a great idea. Go ahead, Brad, and then Nikki.
Yeah, I get a lot of political things, vote for me and other stuff. And I do like what Sandhya says, and that usually stops them. But, a lot of those numbers, like, I can't remember who it was asking about blocking a text message. You can add it to your contacts and all that stuff, but chances are it's a, whack-a-mole. You're going to get another one with a different number, and you're going to end up with all these numbers in your contacts and that they're blocked. So it's a moving target. So I think probably with a text message, safest thing to do is like what Sandhya did, just reply stop. And that usually fixes it if it's an ethical,
legitimate,
on the other end for sure.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Well, I was basically going to say the same thing. Only what I found is that when I would just delete a text like that, I might get another one from another number. But once I started hitting stop, I stopped getting messages that pertain to that topic totally, whether they were coming from the same number or a different number. So yeah, I think that really works. It certainly works with the political stuff.
Very good.
Kathy?
Go ahead, Kathy.
I'm sorry, I'm listening, but I missed where I thought Sandhya said she typed the word stop.
Yes. So you just take that number back. So you just reply to that text message with stop.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I'm sorry. I was
that's a
paying
good
attention.
question.
But...
No, that's a good question.
And this is Nikki again.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Capitalize it.
Oh, there you go. Adam, does that help out?
Sure does. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for the question. All right, next question.
Xavier again.
Go ahead, Xavier.
Yes, I hope that I can ask this question on this platform. With Freedom Scientific, is there any way I can get that on my either Google or Alexa and have it in from start to finish, or it goes from the last episode back down to it goes forward from last to first, or can I get it to first to last so I can pause it and do it on my computer? I hope I can ask this question.
Yeah, this is strictly iOS, so there are some other platforms we have that we can answer these questions. Oh, thank you for the question, though.
No problem.
All right, next question, comment. Any new apps you've used?
This is Marty.
This is David.
Go ahead, Marty, and then Dave.
I wanted to say I solved the problem that I got help from Brad with it. It was I had asked the question several times about putting my password into my watch, and finally what I did was I went to the unlock screen of the phone, not the start screen, but the unlock screen. It said sign in on the watch. I did that, and then there's either a scribble option or edit with your iPhone keyboard. I pressed edit with the iPhone keyboard. Now where Apple, a little misleading, it says press to start editing on your phone. What it should say is double tap, because when you double tap, your screen goes into edit mode. And as you're editing the characters on your phone, like if it's a password and you hear the bullets, you'll hear them on your phone and your watch.
Very good.
And then when you've completed all your characters, you just go to done on your watch and then click on that, and then you're done.
Well, I'm glad you found that out, Marty. Thank you for the help, Brad. And David?
Oh, yeah. Well, back to Xavier's question. I think he was talking about podcasts, or was that like Freedom Scientific?
Talking about it specifically, or he was talking about the Alexa.
What, the Freedom Scientific podcast, what they do? Or because you can... because you can download like all the podcasts all the episodes of a podcast through like a lot of the podcast apps. You can just say, I want to download all episodes, and it'll just play, from episode 1 to episode, current. You can just go have a binge.
Yes, that's what Xavier. Yes, that's what I was trying to.
I do that on
okay. Sorry
Overcast.
about that.
Well, I use Overcast, and you can subscribe to the podcast. Then you go into the screen for the podcast, and there's a button. If you, I think it's like all or something. If you double tap and say, "Do you want to download all episodes of this podcast?" If you say yes, then it's going to grab them all, and then you can then start listening. Whatever order you want to do it.
So Xavier, do you use a podcast catcher on the iPhone?
Yes, I do.
Which one do you use?
The catcher.
Yes, Downcast or Overcast, or even the native podcast app.
I just use the podcast app.
Okay. Yeah, you can go through and search.
You can probably do that too on Apple Podcasts, I'm sure.
Yeah. You can go to the search and go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, I can't emphasize. I find the Apple podcast app to be a confusing mess, and I can't. I can't recommend strongly enough that you check out Overcast. There are other ones, but I know, like David, I use Overcast. What he's talking about, I don't think it's all. I think it's under settings. And then there's a way, I think you asked earlier, was there a way to arrange them oldest to newest or newest to oldest? There's a setting in there for that. There's a setting in there to make it play one after another, or just play one and then stop. There's a bunch of settings in there. I love Overcast. And once I discovered it, I haven't looked at the Apple one in years.
How much do you like the Apple? It
makes my head spin. How much do what?
How much do you like the Apple podcast?
There aren't superlatives strong enough to describe how much I dislike it.
You know what? I will say that I am actually one of the ones that use the native podcast.
Well, if you like it, that's good. You're a smarter man than I am, that's for sure.
I just don't have any here.
There you go.
Is there a cost for Overcast?
No, it is free. They do have a premium service, is $10 a year, and it allows you to do some other things that I've just never needed to do. I think I can import MP3 files and some other things that I have other apps that do that. But no, it's free. And the guy who wrote it is very aware of voiceover accessibility and makes sure that the Overcast app is voiceover accessible in all regards.
Oh, thank you very much.
And Herbie, real quick.
No, I was just gonna say that Overcast. I agree with Brad on Overcast. I was also gonna say some people do also like this other app called Castro for their podcasts. And I don't think that one's I could be wrong though, but I definitely agree with Brad with Overcast. That is really your best podcast app because I was even reminded before the call why I got rid of Apple Podcasts, because it would nicely download stuff even when I told it not to. So yeah, I definitely Overcast. The other thing I will mention though is you probably can also get, if you have the Alexa app on your phone and you have subscribed to podcasts through Alexa, you probably can get it to play those, but I think you would get more flexibility with Overcast.
Xavier, it sounds like Overcast might be the thing to try first.
I kind of got that, yeah.
It'll be a bright moment, believe me.
And so sorry for miss reading that question. Hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you.
This is
Marty.
Go ahead, Sri, and then Marty.
So I want to know if anyone else is experiencing this. So when I go to my phone app and go to recent and I select someone to call back, my focus is on that particular number, but when I double tap it, it's calling somebody else.
Ooh.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, I had that happen to me yesterday. The other day, it was quite annoying because like I double tap on the person and all of a sudden I see this different phone number appear and it was like, wait a minute, what? So now I'm calling back the another person that I'd missed instead of the first person. So it is definitely a very annoying bug that I have also encountered.
Did you find go ahead, Chanel. Go ahead, Chanel.
Yeah, I found it also with favorites. So with me, I meant to call a clinic or something and accidentally called my mother-in-law, which was, of course, a lot better, but wrong number. So
how about you? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
I was going to say, go ahead, Jody.
Same thing. I was trying to call my local radio station, and I ended up calling my son-in-law. So and they're not even close on the favorites list. So I have the same problem.
All right, this is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
We're at midpoint.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Great questions.
All right. Thank you, Keith, and everybody. So now we're at the midpoint. Real quick, we will give everybody a chance who didn't get to say hello the first time around. Say who you are and where you're from, please.
This is Brad. I'm in Dallas.
Hi, Brad.
This is
Chanel.
Shri, welcome. Chanel and Nikki, welcome.
You know who I am.
There's the
and
queen.
Kelsey's here too.
The queen is back. Welcome back, and then welcome Kelsey.
Thank you.
Queen in Arlington. All right. Anybody else?
Xavier, Atlanta.
Xavier, welcome. Karen, welcome.
Kathy Tulsa.
Kathy, welcome.
So David from Houston.
David, welcome.
Michael in Houston.
Well, good evening, sir. Anybody else? Anybody else want to say hello?
Chris in Texas.
Hello, Chris. Welcome. Okay. Anybody else want to say hi? Didn't get to say hello? First
Mark
time?
in Montreal.
Mark, welcome. And who's that?
Kenny from Missouri.
Kenny, welcome. All right. Okay. Real quick, we'll go over the announcements for this week. We have the iBUG Mini Buzz tomorrow from 5 to 6 on Clubhouse, all time central that I'm going to be saying. And then tomorrow's a very exciting double hitter. Hey, get it? It's baseball season, World Series. Anyway, okay, that's about the extent of my baseball knowledge. Okay, so tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., we will have Mac and Talk. So for all things related to the Mac, whether you have one or don't have one, come and join our forum on this same Zoom conference line to talk about all the things relating to your Mac. That's from 7 to 8:30 on this conference line. I think I already said that. Okay, then Thursday is back on Clubhouse. We're going to be doing It's iBUG's Life, and we're going to have some fun Halloween-ish stories. So come check that out. And then, real quick, before we get to Friday, I just wanted to recap. We had an awesome iBUG Apple workshop. We had some awesome presenters and new topics that we had never covered before, new apps. And we had Tom Frank from Vermont. We had Kushal Salenki from Gold Coast, Australia, and Chris Eshte from Humble, Texas. And they each demonstrated very cool apps. I think Tom did the Ariadne GPS, and then Kushal did the Nod Sadhana music app, and Chris did iTunes U. So definitely be looking for that. It should be posted pretty soon. So lots of information, and you will definitely get smarter and get culture and all kinds of good stuff from that. Okay, so then it's time. It's iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. That will take place at 8 p.m. Central, 7:30 social time, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards. And with those wonderful, indecipherable clues is the illusory iBUG guy. iBUG guy, are you out there?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm here. Back again. Back again. All right. Very good. We are ready for Michael's movie show.
Right. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Can't wait. We have some awesome clues.
Okay. What, did somebody else do them?
Yes. My assistant did them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were talking about the plural of moose the other day.
Yes.
And does anybody know what the plural of moose is out there?
Mooses?
This is Keith.
That's what I thought. Keith, go ahead.
How about meese?
That's what somebody else said.
That was what I said.
That's mice.
It is just moose.
Moose.
Multiple moose.
Bunch of moose.
So that got me interested. You know,
Oh,
we say a lot of words like data, which is already a plural. Anybody know the singular?
Chris? Singular's datum.
Datum. Yeah, just yell it out. You don't have to say your name for this part. We're just being fun. How about opera? Is it also a plural? What's the singular of opera?
Oprah.
Opera.
Opus. How about those dreadly things in your kid's hair? Lice is a plural. What's the singular?
Louse.
Louse. Very good. Very good. Spaghetti noodles are plural. Is a plural. What's one noodle called?
Noodle.
Worm.
Nude eye.
Spaghetto.
Really?
Strand.
Spaghetto.
I thought those were those little round thingies.
Those are the true things. Anyway, let's get on with what everybody's waiting
Oh
for.
my goodness, the things we learn on this call. Okay, go ahead.
Moving right along, we've got some awesome clues for our movie this Friday. What is Friday? October the something 29th, a couple of days before Halloween. So that may be a clue in itself.
Oh, stop. Go ahead.
All right, clue number one. The director has said about the film, you might say I was playing them being the audience, like an organ.
Okay.
This is Sri.
All right, Sri.
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera. Good guess.
That is a good guess.
That is not what we are seeing. All right, clue number two. It was the most shocking film its original audiences had ever seen.
Nikki.
Psycho. Psycho. Ding, 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 ding. Psycho is correct, Amundo. Very good, Nikki.
No, I wouldn't watch that film for 10 years.
Psycho. We didn't even get to my other great clue.
Thank you, Nikki, for saving us from the rest of those.
Is it the original or the remake?
This is the original. Alfred Hitchcock's, Anthony Perkins, Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
We would not show any other on iBUG.
Yeah.
Friday night at the virtual movie.
Notch another Hitchcock flick on the.
Yes, sir. All right, Johnny, what do we have for our winner tonight?
Well, what else could we get, Nikki, but a shower curtain in iBUG colors.
Blood.
So just be careful when you go in to take the shower, but it will be red, black, and white, of course.
Right.
So red.
Can I make a
representing
comment?
Blood. All right.
No. Can I make a comment?
Quickly, go ahead.
Janet Leigh was in the shower one night. She was married to Tony Curtis at the time, and he scared her. And from that point on, she wouldn't take showers anymore. She had a hell of a time recovering from the trauma of that film.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, be
Yeah.
careful in the shower.
Yeah, a lot of people
I
have been
will.
known to not take a shower for a while after watching the film.
Yeah.
All right. Very
Well,
good.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCulloch, for those awesome clues. All right. So would you like to say goodnight, Mr. McCulloch?
Good night, Mr. McCulloch.
Oh, that was very well behaved of you. Okay, so now, so just so you know where we're going, we're going to have our iBUG Bites segment where we give you a little clip or a little tip. It's a pro tip, as to quote our friend David. Then we, at the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have our iToys segment for about 15 minutes or so, and Herbie Allen will be leading us through that. And so the rest of the time we have questions. So we have a busy meeting, so that's where we're going. So, Mr. Keith, are we ready to go?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let me hold on.
So while you're doing that, I'll just say one thing. I was listening to the call last week, and we were talking about copying links. And
Oh, sorry, Keith. Okay, go ahead. You have to come back in.
Okay, I'm back. So I was listening. We were talking about copying links, and I actually have a way to copy a link that's going to help us all. Of course, every year Apple's coming out with new things to make things easier, and yes, we all have done the same thing 10 different ways, and I still do some stuff the old way that I learned it, but every once in a while I'll come across something that is actually pretty easy, and most of the time it's by accident. So what I was going to do, I'll go to the iBUG website, open Safari.
Safari, iBUG.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swipe down and find a link, and I'm just going to go by heading. I know where there's a link.
Welcome to iBUG to Empowering the Blind. More and more about a message from the iBUG to iBUG Zoom Connect instruction. iBUG on the HTTPS.
So I have the focus on one of the Zoom links, and if I do a single finger triple tap,
HTTPS/over 90 countries in Algeria.
and I did not do the 3-finger tap properly. Let's go back.
Previous page. Find your local.
I only practiced this 10 times.
iBUG iBUG Night at the iBUG Training Sessions app. This presentation iBUG iBUG Night at the iBUG on the Clubhouse app.
Okay, we'll go back to a link and do a 3-finger or 1-finger triple tap. All right, and you hear preview. What that does is bring up the context menu, and if you go swipe down to the bottom of the context menu,
Top join host Zoom preview over 90 Algeria, Angola, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Bahamas. Open button. Open a new tab button. Open in tab group. Download links 5. Add to reading list. Copy button.
so right at the bottom of the list, you have copy,
Share button.
share,
Dismiss context menu.
and dismiss context menu. So the copy, you can just double tap that, and it will copy that link to the clipboard. And like Sri was talking about last week, you have a link in the middle of the page. You don't necessarily want to copy the whole page. You want to copy that sublink. And so that would be one way you could do it. And Brad had mentioned, I believe it's the 3-finger quadruple tap. And that's a great way as well. So you have some options here. But also, I believe it was Marty that had mentioned the share, and you have that option right here as well. So if you go to
Dismiss context menu. Open in tab group. Download, add to read, copy, share button.
go to share,
Video conferencing with messages button.
you can send it by message,
Mail button.
mail,
Facebook button.
Facebook, it's just like a regular share sheet. So you would be able to copy that, or we'll open a mail tab with that link in the text of the email, and then you would put whoever you would want to send it to, as well as the subject line, and be able to send that person that link. So just as easy as that, it's just another way to copy links that are on a web page or whatnot.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Very cool. And goodness knows we always have to copy links. So we need all the tools we can get. So thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Yes.
And I was going to mention, I believe Marty had a question right there before.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Marty, got your question? Had a little halftime before you had a question earlier.
Yeah, my question simply was, you were talking about podcast apps. Is Downcast still available or supported?
Does anybody want to answer that?
Yes, I believe. This is Kushal. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I believe so, because my friend uses Downcast, and yes, it is still supported.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I use it too. And it's there. So
it's Marty.
Yes.
Would you recommend Overcast over Downcast from what I'm hearing what you guys are saying?
It's a personal preference. This is Sandhya. It's a personal preference. I like Downcast a lot. I've used it longer, but it's you got to use what works for you.
This is Herbie.
Okay, Herbie.
Two things with Downcast. One, I did look at it a long time ago. I think I definitely found the Overcast interface a little bit simpler. Also, I think you have to pay for Downcast. It's cheap, but I think you do have to pay. I think you do have to pay a couple dollars for Downcast, if memory serves correct.
That's Brad.
Okay.
Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, I think Herbie's right. I can't remember what it was. $4.99 maybe. I think I actually bought it, and after buying it, I really didn't like it, and I just continued using the Apple Podcast app for a while till I discovered Overcast.
All right, there you go, Marty.
Okay.
So go for it.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? Somebody you knew that hasn't had a chance that wants to make a comment or question?
This is Kushal.
Yes, go ahead.
I've got a question.
Yes.
So, for those of you who may have updated to 15.1 or Mac, or we'll leave the Mac one to later. But the 15.1, do you exactly know what apps are supported with SharePlay apart from Apple Music?
All right. Using SharePlay on 15.1. Anybody?
Because I was looking in the App Store, I think Kahoot and some of the, are supported, but I'm more looking like, music or sound, like music apps or whatever, like apart from Apple Music. Anything that supports SharePlay yet? I don't think you can do YouTube yet, can you?
Anybody have any thoughts? I don't think anybody has anything to add, Kushal. So you're going to have to go be our trailblazer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the question, though. All right. Who's next? Somebody new has a question? Comment?
This is Shree.
Yeah, Shree, go ahead.
So I was playing around with my YouTube channel, and I got a notification from YouTube saying that they're going to stop doing picture-in-picture, and I wanted to find out if others have gotten that alert.
All right. Anybody have issues with picture-in-picture in YouTube? Anybody got that alert? Okay.
Because I'm on my own.
Guess not. It's just you, Shree.
It's me.
Thanks for the question. All right. Anybody else? New question, new comment.
Susan.
Susan, go ahead.
Yes, I hope Keith is still online. I really like his demonstration on the link question. I think I did ask that last week. I was wondering, with the way he was showing us, will that new way prevent copying cells and tables from the link? Because that happens a lot. Like if you copy a link, say from your mail, and you copy it, paste it somewhere, you'll have all those tables and cells to deal with, and that's a pain getting rid of all that stuff.
All right. Does anybody have an answer?
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
I think that's going to be based on how they built that, whatever the thing that you're looking at, to see if they did that separation. I don't think it's the voiceover copy is doing that. I think copy is just figuring out based on how the layout looks like that it's copying. But I mean, it's possible that someone who wrote in the Safari that they didn't, they continue that link to the additional verbiage.
All right, so
okay,
it's going to
thanks.
depend. All right, thank you, Susan. All right, who's next? Somebody new? Anybody have a question or a comment? Something they want to add? Bits of wisdom that they have attained?
This is Dan.
Jody. Dan, and then Jody. Dan,
Okay,
what wisdom you got for us?
Oh, I don't have any wisdom. I just have a congratulations and a thanks to Michael, the iBUG guy. I was just kind of fooling around on the internet, and I discovered that he posted an unboxing video for the iPhone 13 Pro, and that was really helpful. So thank you very much.
All right, he finally did something helpful. Okay, very good, Dan.
Hey.
I thought you were sleeping. Good job, Mr. McCulloch. Good job. Good job. All right. All right. Very good, Dan. You scored some points there. All right. Next, Jody, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Using the Contacts app, how do you set up a group?
Oh, what a wonderful question. Yes. Who would like to help Jody and me and several others? How to create a group in Contacts. Anybody?
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
All right, so you're talking about creating a group, an email distro. Is that what you're talking about? I just want to make sure I got my terminology.
Yeah, so Jody, are you trying to create an email distribution or a text distribution or a what?
Yeah, well, email, or even if I wanted to have phone call, people grouped together for phone calls. I know when I tapped on group, it does bring up the email, free. So I'll be quiet now.
Okay, go ahead, Tree.
So basically on your phone, if you want to create a group contact, I do it through going to the Notes app. You can do it through any Pages or text edit, and you can copy or type in the email addresses. So for example, we could call it shri@ibugtoday.com, then put a comma, then you can put Sandhya@ibugtoday.com, comma, space, Michael@ibugtoday.com, and so forth. So you do that, and then you can copy that you copy it, and then you can open up the contacts and create a new contact. And basically what I do is give the company a name, so you can call it whatever the group that you want to call it, give it the name under the company name, and then just go to the email and paste it. And once you paste it, go ahead and then swipe left to the top and double tap on done. And then when you go to an email, you just type in that company name that you gave it for that group, and all those people that are in that distro will be added.
This is Jody.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know how to do it that way. I was just hoping that they had a way to do it within the app where you could just group everybody together. And since it said groups, I assumed that there was some way to do it through that. But I do know how to do it through Notes. So thank you, Sri.
All right, thanks, but no thanks, Sri. Okay.
This is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
I can partly answer this.
Go ahead.
Okay. I know you have to go to iCloud.com to type in your names and phone numbers and all to make a group list and name it there. And then it carries over into your contacts. I had help with that a few years ago by a teenager, but just exactly how to do it, I can't tell you, but I do know you go to iCloud.com.
All right. Thank you, Dee, for sharing
This is
that.
Sri.
Sri.
I can't win them all.
I know. We know. It's all right. We still love you. All right. Next. Somebody else have a question?
Michael.
Yes, sir.
So has anybody noticed, I guess it's a bug, the app switcher? When you open the app switcher and you start switching around to different apps, sometimes
This is Sri.
it'll say the name and sometimes it won't.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
This is Sri.
Yes, Sri.
So Michael, that is getting fixed. That is fixed in 15.1.
Okay.
That was one of the things. And Michael, I also saw your video, so can I get some brownie points for that too?
Whatever. Kiss up. Okay, next. Anybody else with a question, comment? No words of wisdom out there? Okay, well, I have a quick question then. Are we going to go to my dumb question? No, I have no dumb questions. Okay, the question is, even if I send an email or send a text, I send the text, and I don't know why this happens, but then it says unread message, and I get all excited because I was like, oh my God, somebody sent me a message, and then it's my own dumb message. So why is it showing up as unread when I sent it?
This is Sri.
Yes.
Are you sending that message to yourself?
No.
The reason I asked that is because like I do text messages and I send text message to myself.
Right. I get that. Well, we
so
could
that's
be.
what I was
Yeah.
asking.
No, if I was not. Yeah. Fair question. Go ahead, Brad. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the person on the other end in their iMessage settings has read receipts turned on.
Yeah.
And that just means they have not opened, they haven't opened that conversation from you in their list of messages to, read it. Maybe it showed up as a notification on their screen and they read it that way and then just dismissed it, but they didn't actually open messages and open your conversation. Because that's what it takes to actually show as read. But basically that means they have read receipts turned on. If you send a message to me, it's just going to say delivered because I have read receipts turned off, and you'll never get that read, unread thing from me because I'm too cool.
So I know you're way too cool. So, okay, so there's really nothing I can do about that. Okay.
No, it's on the other end.
On the other end. Okay, it's not me, it's you. Okay, thank you, Brad. Anybody else with a quick? Somebody who's
This is Marty.
Okay, go ahead, Marty.
Will 15.1 fix the sounds thing? Because I'm noticing not just the clock apps, but I don't get the sound notifying me that I have new email. I don't know that I have new email until I open up my email app.
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure about this one particular issue, Marty, but I just, right before I got on this call, Apple Viz did a very thorough report on 15.1, what the bugs fixes are, which one got fixed, which one didn't get fixed. There were some things about some music I read. I wasn't really reading the fine line of it, and I just kind of read the high level of it. But they did mention about some music stuff was getting fixed.
Okay.
I mean, does anyone else have the email problem that I do with the email notification sounds?
This is Brad.
Brad?
Mine's been hit or miss since 15 came out. I updated 15.1 this afternoon, so it's still a little too early to tell if what's been fixed and what hasn't. I've gone in, I've double checked my email sounds, but they've been hit or miss, it seems. Either that, it's hard to say.
It's Marty. I've noticed in a lot of these apps it has announced notifications, and I guess by default it's off. I've turned it on in some of the apps. What is there any difference if that's off or on? Or
all right, anybody?
This is Brad.
This is Jody.
Okay, Brad.
I was going to say, I have lots of notifications turned off because I don't want to be bombarded all the time. So, but my phone is supposed to make a nice discreet ding whenever I get an email. And sometimes I hear it, sometimes I don't. So I'm not sure.
All right, quickly, Sri and Jody, and then we got to move on to the iToys quickly.
I was just going to say, maybe you might want to just toggle it on and off and just see if it maybe somehow re-kicks the sound notification.
All right, Jody.
I've noticed that I don't get the sound notification, but it's only in specific apps. If I'm reading a Bookshare book, then I don't hear the text messages, but I do hear it with other applications. So it's hit or miss, but yes, I have the same problem.
All right, you're not alone, Marty. Okay, with that, Herbie, are we ready to go, sir?
We are. Yes,
hold the
indeed.
phone. Hold the phone. Let's mute everybody here. Okay. All right, sir. iChoice segment. It's all yours.
All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about toys ranging from the super expensive, well, we're not going to dwell on them, to the very cheap but very popular. So first of all, Apple had another event this last week, and we're going to talk about some things from that do relate to iOS. First of all, I want to backtrack to stuff that came out of the previous event because their hardware has shipped. And two things I want to talk about briefly. One of these I do actually have in my possession right now is the iPhone 13. I have the Pro model, and it definitely looks interesting. The camera bumps are definitely more pronounced, and it has a smaller notch that you can kind of barely, you have to really feel. It's really thin, and it's at the top of the screen, so you can feel it if you have really good sensitive fingers. Now, one thing I will briefly mention, if you are a 12 Pro user and you are wondering, is the upgrade worth it? If you are like me and was not happy with the battery life, then I would definitely say yes. This phone has definitely is living up to the better battery performance that Apple is touting. And I also noticed that the phone does not heat up as much when doing just even simple activities like being on Zoom, like on mobile data, and my 12 definitely did. So that is something to, if a battery is a concern of yours, that is definitely something to consider. And of course, older phones, if you're wondering, should you upgrade? Well, you do get the advantage of 5G, and, batteries now, with most providers anyway, and batteries now equal. Well, very close to equal to, like, what it was with, like, say, the 11 and whatnot. Next thing is the Watch Series 7. Not really too much exciting about that, as you would expect. At least I haven't heard anything that makes me go, wow, it's now 41 and 45 display sizes. There is my current watch going off. Maybe a little bit better battery life, but, I've not heard anything review-wise to make me think, oh, I want an upgrade from, like, the Series 6 or whatever. I am hearing in the rumor mill, but I want to stress this is a rumor mill that, they're talking about some better sensors with the 8, like blood glucose monitoring. But to be fair, they have talked about that for years, so don't get your hopes up until Apple actually, says yes. And you'll know at a future Apple event. So now the Apple event. Well, first of all, this will get talked about more on Mac and Talk tomorrow, but I will just briefly mention that, the highlight, of course, was the new Macs with the M1X processors and all that. And there are other outlets to talk about those more in depth. But I will just say that you can, of course, sync your Mac with your iPhone for things like encrypted backups and stuff like that. Now, next thing is HomePods. So Apple has apparently released some more multicolored different colored HomePods. So if you are wondering, these are the HomePod minis, the big bulky one, like the one that's sitting on my desk here. Maybe you can hear it, is me pounding it, is practically discontinued now. It's ancient, so yeah, I have an ancient brick sitting on my desk here. But more HomePod minis in different colors. Now, if you've been on the fence as to wondering, should you get a HomePod mini? Well, there is something new that Apple has introduced that will especially benefit HomePod mini users that do not have Apple Music, and that is a Siri version of Apple Music. It's $4.95, and it just allows you to only use Siri to play Apple Music. And this could be great for the HomePod user that maybe wants one of these devices, does not want to spend, the full $9.95 for an Apple Music subscription, but wants to get the full benefit of the HomePod, and you can only use Siri with it anyway. So that could be an advantage. Perhaps the next highlight, though, would be the AirPods 3. And essentially, from just reading all the stuff, it boils down to what they look like. And it is my understanding is AirPods 2 with an AirPods Pro stem. So they don't have the fitted ear tips. They do not have the noise cancellation. I don't know if they've actually shipped out to people yet. So I don't know that we have any actual true user reviews. They're supposed to have better drivers and whatnot, which are about the same as the AirPods Pro. And the AirPods Pro, actually, my new iPhone do make them sound a little bit better in noise canceling mode, I thought. So that is interesting. But the stem, though, is the big thing. So now instead of tapping the AirPods like you would with the AirPods or AirPods 2 to do things like Siri or whatever, now you would squeeze the stem instead. They offer a little bit better battery life than perhaps even the AirPods Pro do. And the battery case offers up to 24 hours worth of charge. That can get used up a lot, though, with how frequently you charge your AirPod batteries by putting them in the case. And also, I believe now they're coming out with MagSafe cases for the AirPods Pro and I think for the AirPods 3. So that could be useful for, say, that battery that Shri was talking about several months ago, where maybe you want to use that to charge the AirPods case if it runs out of juice. The final thing that really has gotten a lot of people truly interested in this, and I say this because the waiting list now is at least till January, and this is the cheapest option thing that I'm mentioning tonight, but I guess it shows that people want cheap things, is there is now a cloth specifically designed for cleaning iPhone and iPad screens. And it's about $20, and it's Apple designed, and this thing is selling like I said, there's a waiting list now apparently to get it shipped that you may not get it till at least January. So that definitely sounds interesting. Interestingly enough, I was reviewing the Applevis blog, and they did not mention the cloth, so I guess they didn't talk about it at the event, but it was definitely a new thing that Apple's selling, and like I said, you can use it to clean your devices, and it's Apple approved, so whatever they've done to enhance the cloth to make it more safe for their devices, then there you go. So that was it for the Apple events and the little toys that they are offering. The AirPods 3 is more generally viewed, by the way, it's considered the mid-range AirPods, so it's not necessarily an upgrade to the AirPods Pro. Except, like I said, some people said the battery life will be a little bit better on the 3 than the Pro, and you will get the spatial audio support with the AirPods 3, so that is at least, you're getting that, but the advantage, of course, like I said, with the Pro is you do get the noise cancellation features and stuff, so that can be useful, especially on noisy transportation vehicles. And with that, let's open her up to questions.
This is Marty.
Yes.
Herbie, I think they said on the AirPods 3 that they also have adaptive EQ, even though I don't know what that means because I have the Pro and I don't really notice.
So we already have, great question. We already have that in the Pro. It's designed, I guess, to kind of notice the shape of your ears and kind of adjust the sound a little bit as, to what is going to be most comfortable for you and eliminate certain frequencies and stuff like that.
And also, I wanted to mention two insignificant things about the Watch 7.
Yep.
It comes with a USB-C cable, and its charging time, I think, is only 45 minutes. Now, what I'm curious is, if you took your old USB cable from your older watches, whether that would lengthen the charging time versus using the new USB-C cable.
I think that would depend on whether they've actually changed the wattage in the actual charger, the magnet part that sticks to the watch. I would imagine if it is the same wattage, then it wouldn't matter whether it's USB-C or not.
Well, I don't think they're including bricks anymore, are they?
No, I'm not talking about bricks. What I'm talking about, hold on, Brad. What I'm talking about is, okay, so the what I'm talking about is, did they actually change the wattage of the battery the USB-C battery charger?
Well, oh, you talk about the magnet on the cable?
Yes. Is that a different wattage than the older ones?
I don't know. I actually ordered one, even though I only have a Series 4 watch, but I'm curious if I use that on a USB-C brick, it probably won't, but whether it would enhance my charging time or not. But
I'm guessing on the older watches not, but I guess so, yeah. With the USB-C, you can either use those newer USB-C bricks or plug directly into a computer that has USB-C ports, whether it be the Mac or some PCs. All right, Brad.
Yeah, couple of things. Let's see. Marty's question: the charger on the new watch, the new charger that is the fast charging puck with the USB-C connector. You need to have not only the 20-watt power adapter, you need to have a Watch 7. It will do really, I don't know if it works or not. If it does work on your older watch, you said you have a 4. So anything older than a 7, 6 or earlier, I don't know if you're going to get any different performance than you do out of the charger you've already got. My understanding is the technology that makes it charge faster is a combination of the charger, the USB charger that uses that 20-watt charger, and the Apple Watch 7. So one day, if my Apple Watch 7 ever gets here, I'll know. But I know it does come with just the new charging cable. You have to buy the a USB charger, and I did order. I have a couple of the 20-watt or so, and I ordered a second one. So I'll know when that gets here. Also, let's see. You talked about the new AirPods. At first, you said they were just AirPods 2nd gen in a AirPod Pro case, but then you went and mentioned all the upgrades. So you covered that. They're definitely not an AirPod 2nd gen in an AirPod Pro style, because like you mentioned, they do have the spatial audio. They got different drivers, longer battery. There's a list of things they got, and I've got some on order, and they should be here tomorrow. So we'll find out how they are. I'm kind of an AirPod nut, so I like them.
All right. Well, it'll be very interesting to see how they compare to like the AirPods Pro or whatever. Definitely.
Well, we'll see. It's supposed to fit differently in your ear. I know that I've had all of them, and I've always found that I use them for different things. I like that I can use the regular AirPods to either listen to stuff. Usually I use them with my Mac, and I can hear clearly what's going on the Mac, be it my screen reader or music, or if I'm watching a video, but I can also hear what's going on around me. I've always used my AirPods Pro when I'm specifically listening to something, usually on my iPhone. So I use them for that use case. I do like the noise canceling or the spatial audio. I mean, the transparency mode. I really haven't experienced a whole lot of spatial audio, but I haven't watched a lot of Apple TV yet. But anyway, and of course I have the AirPod Max too, which, they all have a different use case in my world. So anyway, I'm anxious to see what they'll be like.
This is Sri.
Oh, go ahead, Sri.
All right. Yep, Sri. Yep.
So I almost fell off my chair when you said the cloth was $20. So do you know if there's an air tag that's going to tie to this so I don't lose this cloth?
Well, what you're going to have to do there, Sri, is you're going to have to purchase the AirTag. Then you're going to have to purchase a holder and something to attach that holder to the cloth. So by the time you do that, you might as well just get a second cloth or 2 or 3 cloths. Spend the same amount of money. So if you lose one, you have like a backup or two. So
does it only come with one cloth?
I believe so, yes. And Brad?
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot to mention I couldn't resist. I ordered the cloth too. Actually, I ordered a couple of them. I ordered one. It should be here around Thanksgiving. And I went back the next day and said, these will make some gifts, and ordered a couple of more. They won't be here till just before Christmas. So yes,
right,
there's a
the man of the
backlog
cloth,
on it. And now if you order them, you're looking at mid-January. I don't know. People,
Yep.
It's a $20 item. And what I understand is the real thing is, I don't know about the iPhone screen, but supposedly it's what's that fancy $5,000 display that has some kind of a coating on it? Or actually the new 24-inch iMac has the same kind of coating on its screen. And my wife has one of those. So that's why I got one of those for her. But I believe the new MacBook Pros will also have a similar coating. And I've got one of those on the way, and that's why I went ahead and decided to get me a cloth.
All
This
right.
is Sri. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
All right. Yep.
So does this cloth require something else that you have to spray to clean the cloth and the screen, or is it just it's got some chemical that'll is in the cloth to clean the screen?
This is Brad.
Go ahead,
Brad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No chemical, no spray. It's a really fine fiber that will not scratch these high polished surfaces that Apple's using on that fancy $5,000 display or the new 24-inch iMac, and I believe the new MacBook Pros have a similar coating on their screen. It's just so when you wipe it clean, you don't scratch it. I mean, you don't want to just grab a paper towel off the rack and wipe off your screen. That'll scratch it. So
I can't help but wonder, though, do people get it for that purpose, or they just want the novelty of ordering something cheap from Apple?
I think they want it from Apple, and it's got a cool Apple logo on it.
Yeah.
This is
All right.
Terry.
Yes, Terry.
Hello, everybody. I'm late to the potty today, so I apologize. And forgive me if you've already answered this. Regarding the Apple Watch 7 series, when I heard I forget what that's called, the big event, where they mentioned it, they didn't really mention much about it except for visual improvements. Right. And have I missed anything, or has anything come out since then that would be an advantage for us to own one because they've added some new wonderful feature that they rumored and didn't include?
So I think maybe the best feature that I've heard about really is the fast charging. Like for me personally, because I don't sleep with the thing, I really don't need it. So that's not an incentive for me to upgrade. But I could see where if you're one of those that likes to use the sleep tracking features on your watch, for instance, you might really benefit from the ability for it to fast charge in like 45 minutes, for instance. So I could see where, depending on how you're using your watch, that could be a great feature. I think the battery is a little bit better, but I did actually say that I'd not heard anything that makes me go, ooh, I gotta have this new watch. And but part of it Two is also just, like I said, how I use my watch. I use it, for workouts more than anything else, and that's not a continuous thing. So I don't use like the sleep tracking or, this and that as much. So I don't care as much about the battery because I can just charge it overnight and I'm good. So
this is Shri.
Okay, there was somebody before Shri. I think it was Sandhya. Or...
Yeah, my internet is doing some weird stuff. Okay, I did read, Terry Ann, that it's supposed to be more durable, and we've had people say I'm really rough on my watch. People are rough with their watches or whatever, so it's supposed to be a little more durable, whatever that means. But that's what they said.
I'd say I will say though that I think really with the Watch 4 and up, they have definitely been a lot more durable just with the stainless steel and whatnot. Okay, Shri.
I do believe there's new gestures out with the watch, where you can squeeze your wrist as to same thing as tapping. And, you can squeeze your wrist twice to double tap. And I think if you pinch with 2 fingers, it performs a gesture. So they've opened some accessibility features in there.
Interesting.
You're kidding. This is Sandhya.
Yeah. It's actually, this is Shri.
Yep, Shri.
This was actually announced before for accessibility for the Apple Watch. So there's some, for people who have issues with like tapping and stuff, they can just squeeze their hand and it performs gestures.
Yeah, this is Brad. David Woodbridge did a podcast on the new gesture. So, and I wasn't sure if it's required to have a Watch 7 or does it just work with the Watch OS 8? I don't know. I would think it would be the watch. It'd have to have a sensor to tell if you were doing squeezing of your wrist. So
this is Shri.
Shri, yeah.
So I think from what I heard was the latest SC and the 6 and the 7 will support it.
So then you don't even need a 7. If you have a 6, then if I squeeze my wrist, I can make it do something.
Yeah, I think there's like 4 or 5 gestures that you can do without touching the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm cutting off my circulation and not having any luck, so we'll have to look into this further. So, Shri, you've got homework for next week. And,
hey, this is Dee.
Yep. Okay, go ahead, Dee.
Okay. This new iTunes program you were talking about with Siri, is that strictly for the iPod or is that iPhone and iPad also?
A great question. So it is for the iPhone as well. If you really want, it's for people that want a cheaper Apple Music plan you're limited to just Siri. So that's who it's designed for. But so yes, it will work on the iPhone. So like if you open the music app, it'll look different for you. But yes, so you don't have to you're not limited to just a home. It's for anybody that has an Apple device that wants a cheaper alternative to the $9.95 option.
Okay, so you can't go
if you're somebody that always uses Siri for Apple Music anyway, you'd probably be fine with the $4.95 plan and not notice the difference. So,
yeah, okay, thank you.
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya, yes.
Can you, regarding the minis, the HomePod minis, I rediscovered my HomePod this weekend, and I was wondering, can you create what if I bought like 2 minis? Can they all be together and be friends and play like a surround sound system, or am I just
the more we are together, the happier we'll be, right? Yes, you can do in the Home app, you can do stereo pairings of HomePods and HomePod minis and whatnot. And I have it's even stereo paired a regular HomePod with a HomePod mini too. So you do all that in the Home app.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, anybody new with a question? Remember, there's no such thing as a dumb question, so.
Okay. All right, Herbie. Well, thank you so much. All right, so we have a few minutes. Thanks, Herbie. A few minutes left so we can address any questions, any other unsaid questions that we didn't get to yet. Who has a question?
Well, this is Herbie with a question, if nobody else has one.
Okay, hang on. Let's give everybody a turn. Anybody? No? Okay, go ahead, Herbie.
So, can somebody explain just how actually do you, and we've kind of talked about this a while back, but how do you actually remove a SIM card from the iPhone?
All right.
It's Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
Got to first find where the tray is. They've moved it around in different places on different iPhones. I tried to change it on
So this would be a 12.
Yeah, on the 12 Pro, it was on the side where the volume buttons are. They moved it to the other side of the iPhone.
All right.
And people say you can use a paper clip, but man, paper clip ain't strong enough. I needed one of those little extractor tools that they provide with a new SIM card. I got a couple of them from different times that I've had them. The problem is finding them, but they're a lot stiffer than a paper clip. And I had no problem popping the SIM card tray out on my wife's second gen iPhone SE. But man, let me tell you, it was not easy popping that tray on the 12 Pro. But anyway, it's on the side. I can't remember where, if it's midway, whatever. But, if you run your finger along there, I really couldn't feel it. My wife had to find it and put the little tool in the little hole. But it was the side with the stainless steel. I would run my finger along it and I had trouble detecting where it is. But that's where it is. It's below the volume buttons.
Okay, yeah, I think I feel it. It's towards the bottom. It's like this tiny, tiny little hole.
Yes, it was a lot harder to find than on any other iPhone I've tried to find one on. And I don't know, did you get one of those extractor tools?
I am going to go look at the trade-in kit to see if it did actually give me one.
It should have had one. They usually always provide, but it's a lot stiffer than your ordinary paper clip.
All right, and Sandhya.
Yeah, I was going to say it's closer to the volume, but I don't know. You said the end. I mean, it's like literally like if you, it's like not even an inch from the from the volume button down.
Yeah.
So that's where it is.
Okay. Oh yeah, I do.
And that thing is tiny in there.
Yeah, and the extractor kits, the little thing, and the little tray pops. So you poke it in, then the little tray pops out, then you take the little SIM card. I was so excited when I did this, and I was like, felt so proud of myself. So if I can do it, you can do it, Herbie.
All right, sounds good.
Are we good?
Don't drop that little SIM card.
Don't drop the SIM card. Put the dog outside. All those kind of precautions are a good idea.
The good news is you can't put as long as you don't lose it. It only goes in one way.
Yes, that's correct.
So
unfortunately, I don't need to put one in. I just need to take the other one out so I can send it back to Apple. So
good deal.
I've never taken them out. I just send them back with the thing in it. It doesn't matter.
Oh, well, in that case, I've just saved myself.
Because mine, I've always used Sprint. And I can't take the card out and do anything else with it. And I've always just forgotten. I just send it back.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Something fell.
All right.
In that case, I'll save myself a step even more. All right.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Herbie, for that question. Anybody else with a 2-minute question? Anybody else?
This is Ray. I just wanted to make a comment that I read.
Yes.
So I read an article that if you are an existing Sprint customer, be a lookout that T-Mobile is going to try and move the account. I think they're doing it in stages, so you may be receiving something if you're a current Sprint customer.
Okay.
This is Brad. I just went through that. Where it is, it's been optional until now, but in January they will begin the forced migration. You will no longer have a choice. It's going to start in January. And I read another article that said January 1st they were going to turn off all the Sprint 3G towers, but due to dragging the feet of some of their partners, namely Boost Mobile, they've delayed that till the end. But that's because they want to use that equipment to implement some other more modern technology. But when I was in there getting a new SIM card to update to where I could use both networks is when I asked them about that. And they said, yeah, come January, you're going to get told move or your service will get cut off.
Okay. All right. Very good, Tree. Thank you for that update. Anybody else with a quick question? Going once. Anybody else? No final thoughts?
Victor Kunzman.
All right. Okay. All right. So real quick. Okay. So just want to review for next time. We have many class. So thank you, Keith, and then thank you, Herbie, for that awesome review of the Apple products. Very excited. I'm thinking about that, Rich, the new features about the. We'll have to check that out. Pinching your wrist. It's cool. So let's see. Mini Buzz tomorrow on Clubhouse, and then Back and Talk in the evening on Zoom, and then Thursday is it's iBUG's Live on Clubhouse at 6 o'clock. And then the iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies will be watching Psycho, a classic, and just in time for Halloween. So come and check out the Alfred Hitchcock classic. That will be at 8 p.m. Central, 7:30 for social time. And with that, we will bid you farewell and good night. And we hope you have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week. Thank you and good night. Happy Halloween. Goodbye.
Thank you. Happy Halloween.
Bye, everybody.